Right now, Madison, Wisconsin is the home of fitness.
Pat Felder at 595.
Oh, yeah.
The name of the game is speed here. This event is all about how fast can you go.
Rumors of Matt Fraser being human have been greatly exaggerated.
There is nothing fancy about this. It is just pure work, and it's gonna hurt.
To carry that much weight on your shoulder, you must have a steel core.
Somebody get out there and tell this woman she's a rookie.
Their journeys began in places like Gladstone, Australia, Reykjavik, Iceland, Budapest, Hungary, Natick, Massachusetts. But they are all ending in the same place, Madison, Wisconsin. 40 women have descended upon the Alliant Energy Center to take on the toughest, most comprehensive test of fitness ever devised, the CrossFit Games. Only one will take home the ultimate prize, the title of fittest woman on Earth. The CrossFit Games are the culmination of a three-part season. The women's field started with 165,000 participants in the Worldwide Open. 5 workouts over 5 weeks narrowed the field to 360. 9 regionals around the world cut the field down to the final 40, the elite of the elite. The 40 women who made it to Madison will compete in 14 events over 4 days. Day 1 is billed as the toughest since the games began in 2007. The athletes will deal with 4 very different events in a span of 12 hours. Up first, a challenge many of them have never faced, a Criterium bike race. Luckily, some professional riders were on hand early in the week to show the athletes how it's done.
I'll be going in class.
Following their lesson, the women got some time to practice.
Your time for the lap will start and stop when you cross that red line.
A time trial the day before the event determined the starting grid.
I don't know if we looked as fast as those cyclists that were demonstrating for us, but sure felt like it.
Event 1 is the Criterium. Athletes will complete 10 laps around a 1,200-meter circuit. All 40 women will be on the course at the same time.
This right here was the run, swim, run last year. The Criterium race is going to be along this course. You guys are going to do 10 laps 4 times. Welcome to the CrossFit Games.
Great races are just sketchy. That's kind of what they're known for. Like, they're short, lots of turns, lots of maneuvering.
I like it that it's like all the 40 of us are going together.
You know, I rode bikes all the time when I was a little kid, so which is so funny because there's some people that have never ridden bikes.
I got a bike last summer, but I just never used it. And then this event was announced, and I was like, gotta start using it. Yeah. So yeah.
Horvath looks really good. She looks really, really talented. She looks comfortable, which is uncommon for rookies at the games. And I think this one could be right in her wheelhouse.
The bikes are ready. The athletes have been briefed. It's time to ride.
The capital of Wisconsin is now the capital of fitness. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the opening event of the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games. I'm Sean Woodland alongside 2009 CrossFit Games champion Tanya Wagner. We are ready for the first of 14 events as we look to crown the fittest woman on earth.
These ladies have worked so hard all year for this competition that starts now. Sometimes the most difficult thing to do is just maintain your nerves before the start of the games in this first event.
And speaking of the first event, it is a 10-lap Criterium race on bikes around this 1,200-meter course.
The pressure is on right from the start here because this women's side of competition is so deep. Not one of these ladies can afford to have a bad event if they want to be on the podium.
We will have a rolling start.
Ladies and gentlemen, this will be a rolling
And then once the athletes hit the official starting line, that is when the race will begin. Dave Castro, the director of the CrossFit Games, out front in that bright yellow bike, leading the athletes to the starting line. 5 rows of 8 athletes. And it's Laura Horvath who had the top qualifying time, and now the athletes begin to pick up speed as we get set to kick off event number 1, the Criterium race, the opening event of the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games in Madison, Wisconsin. Dave Castro has moved off the course, and now the race will begin. 10 laps around this 1,200-meter course. And Laura Horvath, who is on the inside, she is out front. She's in the blue pants, the rookie from Hungary. Cassie Lance McWhorter, the blonde-headed woman, is right behind her, and then Katrin Davis-daughter in third.
Horvath's time trial was good enough for a 16th place on the men's side, so very impressive time. All eyes are on her. However, when you're out in the front, that's good news for the women behind you if they can stay close enough. I don't know if we'll see it or who will be the first one to do it, but drafting is a big thing in the sport of cycling, and if you can do it right, you can save a lot of energy over the course of this 10-lap race.
You were out on the course yesterday. You got to watch these women go through their qualifying laps. What do you think the keys of this event are?
Well, you need to stay in control, absolutely. Many of these women, 99% of them, are not comfortable on these bikes. They're not used to the equipment, the clips, their shoes are clipped in, so they need to just stay in control and avoid crashes, avoid collisions. They also have to maintain their momentum. It's a race. Around the corners, they're going to need to get that speed back up after they come around the corners quickly. So maintain all the momentum you can. It's going to be efficient. And then know your surroundings, know the field of play. Part of this course here is uneven. There's markers on the ground showing these ladies where there's holes or where there's different divots. So be aware of that. And also, who's around you? Are they controlled riders or are they more unpredictable?
Laura Horvath leads the way through the first lap. Her time around that first lap, 1:29.44 seconds. But remember, that was on a shorter course than it was on the qualifying lap because the start line was moved up because of the rolling start. Now the athletes will settle in to a more normal pace. A train of athletes developing behind Laura Horvath as they approach the first turn on lap number 2. 9 laps remain, though, in the opening event of the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games. We'll have the conclusion of the Criterium when we return to Madison, Wisconsin. Back at the Alliant Energy Center in the opening event of the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games, closing out lap 7 of 10. We have a change at the front. Iceland's Sarah Sigmundsdóttir has moved herself into the lead.
For the first time ever, I have seen Sarah Sigmundsdóttir come to the CrossFit Games with a game face on, and I've loved it, and I couldn't wait to see what she did and what she brought. I love her composure, that she sat back this far into the race, watched the race unfold in front of her, see who her athletes that she's competing against, see what she needs to do. That was really smart and watched, and I'm really anxious to see if she can hold on to this now for another 2 laps.
Sigmundsdóttir's in the lead, but Katrin Davis-daughter's right behind her, Tia Toomey. And now another change at the front. Trying to make out a number on the jersey. Looks like that could be Meredith Root.
Meredith Root is a rookie, and she's a name that I was looking for this event in particular because she's the only one who has crit experience in high school. She raced crit. I was surprised to see her name not higher at the top of the time trial. I was surprised we haven't seen her yet, but maybe that was her strategy. Maybe she was as well, looking to see how this thing unfolded to know what she needed to do for when it actually counts here at the end.
Meredith Root was a late add to the CrossFit Games field. She finished 6th in the West, but she made it in after one of the qualifying athletes from that regional was disqualified due to a failed drug test. And now here she is leading in the later stages of the opening event of the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games. Lap 8 of 10 here in the Criterium. The first of 4 events that these athletes will do on the opening day of this competition. Meredith Root leads the way, and by this time, all the athletes have figured out what line they need to take as they head through these turns.
And they're hitting those lines and turns a lot faster because of that confidence, but that can be tricky because any little error is so much harder to control. And Tennille Reed there in the center of your screen bumps into the back tire of Katrin Davidsdottir. She wipes out, which is gonna knock her to the back of the pack. But good for Katrin Davidsdottir. She was able to regain that control and maintain her top position here among the ladies.
Meredith Root is your leader. Kristen Holta is in second. Laura Horvath sits in third. Katrin Davidsdottir is in fourth. And Tia Toomey and Cassie Lance McWhirter in fifth and sixth. And Sarah Sigmundsdottir, who led for a good portion of lap number 8, has now fallen back in the pack. She sits in 7th place with now just 2 laps remaining.
She probably pushed it a little too hard right there, or I'm wondering if she realized being out in front, it was taxing her too much and it wasn't time for her to make a move, but I'm surprised she fell that far back. Maybe she just pushed it too soon, too early.
And now Alessandra Pacelli in the blue pants has taken her turn at the front of the pack, but Katrin Davidsdottir remains in 2nd place. That is the one thing that basically has not changed here towards the front of the pack. Katrin Davidsdottir has been doing a great job of drafting off whoever is sitting in that lead position, and she has kept herself in 2nd place for the majority of this race. And now Sarah Sigmundsdottir on the right of your screen looking to make a move and overtake Sandra Pacelli for the lead here on lap number 9 of 10.
We expected to see the speed pick up here at the end, and that's exactly what's happening. That last lap was an average pace of 1 minute 59 seconds as opposed to the first lap, which was 2 minutes and 4 seconds. So really it's go time, and we're seeing who has anything left to give.
Katrin Davidsdottir now back in front, and she is opening up a lead as the bell sounds to signify the final lap here of the Criterium race. And Katrin Davidsdottir is looking to bring home 100 points, and this is the biggest lead we have seen so far at any point in the race.
This is the push, this is the sprint.
Katrin Davidsdottir spent the entirety of the race in 2nd place, and now she is in the lead. Now the question is, can she hold it on the final lap? Laura Horvath is trying to push her for that position, and now Laura Horvath has moved herself back into the top spot. These are your top 2 for the time trials as well, as Laura Horvath had the fastest qualifying time, and Katrin Davidsdottir was 2nd.
This is where all the practice of the previous 9 rounds comes into play. You know the course, you know where you need to be, and now can you execute that with top speed?
Horvath and Davidsdottir, your top 2. And Kristen Holta sits in 3rd. Cassie Lance McWhirter around in the corner. Bethany Shadburn on the left of your screen. She's up in that lead pack as well. But the top 3, Laura Horvath, Katrin Davidsdottir, and Kristen Holta, as the pace begins to pick up as we approach the final stages of the last lap.
They're pushing. It is a long course, and that's going to feel really long when you start to make that sprint early. Katrin Davidsdottir taking a wide lead and made a nice inside turn. That was a good move for her, but she's losing some momentum there.
And now the sprint to the finish as Kristen Holta moves to the outside. We have a crash in the back, but Holta has overtaken Laura Horvath, and Kristen Holta will win event number 1.
Less than 3 seconds separate 1st place from 5th. Former 2-time fittest woman on earth, Katrin Davidsdottir, takes 3rd behind Laura Horvath.
It was so easy for like the first 7 laps, and then girls started making more of attacks. Kristen kind of led, and Laura was just up in front. I tried to like kick it and almost caught up with her, but I just like, that was all the power I had.
Defending champion Tia Toomey is 5th.
There was some scary moments out there. You know how, like when they told us to stay in our lanes? There was no such thing as lanes.
Sarah Sigmundsdottir crosses the finish line 10 seconds after Toomey. It's a difference of 16 places. Cara Saunders, the 2nd fittest woman on earth from last year, comes in less than a second behind Sigmundsdottir. Saunders takes 22nd. Kristen Holte's 5th career Games event win earns her 100 points and the overall lead. Rookie Laura Horvath starts in 2nd place. Katrin David's daughter, Bethany Shadburn, and Tia Toomey round out the top 5.
I was leading for too long in the beginning, so I shouldn't have done that, but I'm happy. And then in the last lap, I just pulled out, and then Kristen came in the last turn, and then she passed me in the last stretch.
Next on the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games, the script gets flipped in Event 2 as athletes prepare for a test of gymnastics skill. Athletes are not the only ones gathering in Madison. The CrossFit Games are more than a sporting event. They are an annual festival where fans from around the world meet to enjoy all things CrossFit. The CrossFit Games take athletes out of their comfort zones. That was clear in Event 1. Michelle Fumagali's crash forced her to withdraw. Emily Bridgers crashed as well, but remains in the competition.
Just getting redressed from my road rash.
In the Criterium, mere seconds were the difference between earning 94 points and earning 40 points. At the CrossFit Games, every point matters. In the women's competition over the last 3 years, the championship race has come down to the very last event.
This is it. Sarah Sigmundsdottir, still your overall leader. She's going to try to hold off Katrin Davidsdottir and Carl Webb for the top spot. This is big for Davidsdottir. She needs to make up 17 points on Sigmundsdottir. Tia Toomey is across. Toomey will finish 4th in the event, and that means that Katrin Davidsdottir is the fittest woman on earth. The final heat of the final event of the 2016 Reebok CrossFit Games, and that woman, Katrin Davidsdottir, fighting for her life here in the final heat. She came in with the overall lead ahead of Tia Toomey. Tia Toomey needs to get in ahead of Katrin Davidsdottir to get on top of the leaderboard, and she will get across the finish line, and now Tia Toomey will wait and see what happens.
Your 2016 Reebok CrossFit Games champion is, once again, Katrin Davidsdottir!
We've had 12 events over the last 4 days. We're going to need one more to figure out who is the fittest woman on earth. Tia Toomey is your overall leader, but only by 6 points of Carl Webb. And it is going to be once again some nerve-wracking minutes for Tia Toomey. The last 2 years, she has been on the floor waiting for the official announcement.
Your 2017 fittest woman alive is from Australia. Your 2017 Reebok CrossFit Games champion is Tia Toomey!
Athletes expect another close race this year, but they did not expect day 1 of the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games to be one of the most difficult in history. After a long test of endurance, they now face a short test of gymnastics. Event 2 is a CrossFit benchmark, a workout that is repeated throughout gyms around the world to help people measure their progress. 30 muscle-ups for time.
So good. Gymnastics, let's go.
Pull and push 30 times.
Lands unbroken. Yeah, we're pretty confident with unbroken.
I think the key with the girls is going to be those rest periods, so knowing what they can rest for, counting it in their heads, and then just getting back up there and doing those sets.
I'm excited for it for like so many different reasons. It's going to be really physically challenging, and I think it's going to be even more mentally challenging.
2014 Games champion Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet wins the first of 2 heats with a time of 3 minutes and 8 seconds.
Not enough to catch Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet, who's in at 3 minutes, 8.76 seconds to set the time to beat.
The top 20 women try to chase down the former champ's mark. The final heat of Event 2 is next. Like the athletes, fans are constantly on the move at the CrossFit Games. They have made their way to the North Park for Event 2, 30 muscle-ups for time.
The test continues and the script has flipped. Event number 2 of the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games. It's all about gymnastics. 30 muscle-ups for time. Thanks for being with us today, everybody. I'm Sean Woodland alongside 2009 CrossFit Games champion Tanya Wagner. We were on bikes this morning. We are on rings right now.
A much more familiar territory for all of these women up there on the rings. And 30 muscle-ups for time is a benchmark. So they should all know about what they can do those in. We'll have 5-minute time cap and they won't need it.
20 athletes on the field for the second and final heat, and keep an eye on lane number 10. That's where Tia Toomey will be working. The 2017 Fittest Woman on Earth coming into this event in 5th place overall after this morning's Criterium race.
That's a great finish for Tia Toomey this morning in that event, and now she's going to be facing something of much more familiar to her that she can pace out, that she can push and know exactly where her limits are. She's really known for how great she is on the barbell, but this is an area she's worked on. She's strong, and I'm confident that she's going to put up another top finish here.
Final heat underway, everyone trying to chase down Camila Blanc-Bazanet's time of 3:08.76 seconds that she put up in the first heat.
Keep your eye on the top of the screen. The leader's name in the heat will be highlighted in a blue box. The number of repetitions that woman has completed will be in the white box. All the women who have their names listed in red, the number in the white box will indicate either how many reps they have completed or how many reps behind they are of the leader. And right now it's Jamie Green battling Christy Aramo and Emily Bridges. Tia Toomey all through 9, now 10 of those muscle-ups, and Katrin Davidsdottir in the middle of your screen has hopped off. She's breaking early here.
The name of the game for this is all about your strategy and your pacing and not getting too ahead of yourself and getting too overconfident early. It can be, the difference between taking first and taking 5th. A lot of people can squeak in it once you start to fail at muscle up. So the biggest thing to do is keep your speed through the reps. So if 1 rep is about 3 seconds, as soon as you start to slow that down and it takes you the extra second to lock out, you need to come down and shake it out.
Tia Toomey right now is your leader. She's through 20 and taking her first break. Emily Bridgers was right behind her, but now Christy Aramo and Cara Saunders have passed her for 2nd place. The time to beat in the upper left-hand portion of your screen. Camila Blanc-Bazanet, the 2014 Fittest Woman on Earth, did that in the first heat. 3 minutes, 8.76 seconds. And Toomey on the right, who was and still is your leader, as Emily Bridgers has now tied her, taking a long break here. Christy Aramo in the middle of your screen, number 32, is now creeping up, and Cara Saunders, who is now in the lead as well.
For Cara Saunders, that's huge because she had a 22nd place finish on that bike event, and she needs to dig herself out of that hole. She needs some real big wins here the rest of the day.
Tia Toomey now back in the lead. Christy Aramo 1 rep back. Jamie Green is in 3rd, followed by Bridgers and now Saunders. So it is neck and neck for 2nd place as Toomey hanging on to a slight lead, now tied with Christy Aramo as Cara Saunders takes another break. Tia Toomey back on the rings with 4 to go. Tia Toomey looking to lock up an event win as she is well ahead of Camila Blanc-Bazanet's pace. Toomey with 1 to go. She will lock it out, and the 2017 Fittest Woman on Earth will get beaten out by Christy Aramo on the far side of the field, but a solid finish for Tia Toomey here in event 2.
She held on for that big set. Aramo was just quick off the rings and really made a quick sprint to the finish.
Kristen Holta, the winner of the opening event this morning, is in the white leader's top. She is well off the lead pace. Cassidy Lance McWhorter and Laura Horvath are among a handful of athletes who are the leaders on the field. And now Horvath is done, and she will lock up 3rd place in the event. Cassidy Lance McWhorter is right behind her. And now Australia's Cara Saunders is coming across the finish line. She'll take 8th in the event as times from heat 1 are starting to factor in.
The 2 Australians finish inside the top 10. The 3 Icelanders do not. Sarah Sigmundsdottir edges out Katrin Davidsdottir at the finish line by 0.3 of a second. Amy Thorisdottir comes in less than 8 seconds later. She takes 18th. Rookie Laura Horvath has the overall lead by 8 points over defending champion Tia Toomey. Cassidy Lance McWhorter moves up 4 spots to 3rd. Kristen Holte drops to 4th. The event win catapults Christy Aramo up the leaderboard. She goes from 20th to 5th.
The last set into 2, and I wanted 1. The rings, it would have been a gamble. So I just broke it up and it worked out. Just stay calm.
Yeah, that was good. That was fun. I enjoyed that one.
Which I wanted to do. I got caught in my hair on the 5th one.
On the 5th one?
And I didn't think I had 6 left in me, so that's why I broke it down to 3.
So 9, 6, 5, 4.
I just didn't want to fail one, because if you fail one, it's so long to get back up.
Up next, from body weights to heavy weights, the barbells are out for event 3, the CrossFit Total.
410 for Tia Toomey.
For the first time at the CrossFit Games, athletes are getting their hands on barbells. Event 3 is another classic test, the CrossFit Total. The women will perform 3 different lifts: the back squat, the shoulder press, and the deadlift. The highest total for all 3 lifts wins the event. American women used to own the CrossFit Games. From 2007 to 2010, 11 of the 12 athletes who finished on the podium were American, including every champion. Then CrossFit became a global sport, and things quickly changed. Since 2010, no American woman has won the CrossFit Games.
Your 2015 Reebok CrossFit Games champion is from Iceland. Your 2017 Fittest Woman Alive is from Australia.
Since 2014, only one American woman has even finished on the podium. For a handful of athletes from the United States, the CrossFit Total could be the first step towards changing that. Cassidy Lance McWhorter currently occupies the final spot on the podium, but she finishes 16th, and her hold on 3rd place is slipping. Christy Aramo can't duplicate her performance in Event 2. She ties for 14th in the CrossFit Total. Carrie Pierce came into the event in 12th overall and is looking to move up the leaderboard.
155 on the bar. 155 is good for Carrie Pierce.
Despite that lift, Pierce finishes 13th. It's a different story for rookie Amanda Barnhart. She performs like a seasoned vet in the total.
Barnhart just hit 390, so the standings here continue to shift.
That lift helps her take 3rd in the event. As a result, she moves from 37th overall to 19th. Brooke Wells is the top finishing American in the CrossFit Total.
Brooke Wells just nails 415.
And she's pumped about that, she should be.
Yeah, I would have liked to go a little bit heavier, but it's just too risky. Like, I didn't have enough time or attempts, so kept it safe.
Her total of 870 pounds earns her 2nd place and 94 points. Coming up on the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games, Australian rivals trade heavy punches. The final heat of the CrossFit Total is next. The heavy barbells are out for Event 3, the CrossFit Total. CrossFit Games fans always enjoy seeing the big weights go up. But what they like even more is watching the best in the world lift them.
final heat of event number 3 on what is the toughest day in CrossFit Games history from Madison, Wisconsin and the Alliant Energy Center. I'm Sean Woodland alongside 2009 CrossFit Games champion Tanya Wagner. We've had bikes, we've had rings, and now it's all about the heavyweights.
I love that this is the raw strength. Take the speed out of it, dig in. How strong are you across 3 different strength movements?
Tia Toomey comes in second place overall, just 8 points back of Laura Horvath. Loading up her barbell, and Tia Toomey is a woman who is used to lifting in high pressure conditions in front of a very big crowd.
But Toomey is not used to mistakes. She starts by making one.
Oh, that was surprising. That was a huge surprise. Bar fell off her back there, not sure what happened.
It does not happen again.
Toomey going after 330 pounds, and Toomey will make it easily.
Tia Claire Toomey is in second place, so Cara Saunders needs these points over Tia Claire.
Now Cara Saunders with big weight, 330 pounds is good.
Saunders continues to improve on her 22nd place finish in the opening event as she heads into the second lift, the shoulder press.
Cara Saunders jumped into the lead with that lift of 135 pounds, and that thing went up quickly.
While Saunders moves into the lead, Sarah Sigmundsdottir and Annie Thorisdottir look to move up the overall leaderboard.
Annie Thorisdottir at 125 pounds.
Her deadlift gives her a total of 840 pounds. Thorisdottir ties for 8th in the event.
135 is good for Sarah Sigmundsdottir. Sigmundsdottir right now in this heat, not in the top 5, and she is off to a slow start.
Sigmundsdottir ties for 10th in the event, her best finish so far. Katrin Davidsdottir is heading in the opposite direction.
Katrin Davidsdottir at 145 pounds. And that won't go for Davidsdottir, who comes into this event 6th place overall.
Davidsdottir finishes 36th. It takes her out of the race for the podium, for now. Tia Toomey stays on track with a successful press at 130 pounds. The final movement, the deadlift, takes Cara Saunders out of the race for the event win as she fails to keep pace with Tia Toomey. Saunders ties for 8th. Toomey sets her sights on taking the overall lead from Laura Horvath.
Laura Horvath 370 is good. Tia Toomey with 395. So now the big number's starting to roll in.
Tia Toomey opening with 395. That's her opening lift. That is just incredible.
And right now, Toomey ahead of Laura Horvath. Now Laura Horvath at 405.
Makes
and that
it.
will count.
Well, that's a solid lift though right there, Sean.
And now Toomey at 415. And that will count for Tia Toomey, and she takes the CrossFit Total.
Toomey's final lift gives her the win. Horvath finishes 7th. Tia Toomey puts herself on top of the overall standings. She turns an 8-point deficit into a 20-point lead over Laura Horvath. Cassidy Lance McWhorter holds steady in 3rd. Christy Aramo continues to climb. She is now in 4th. And Annie Thorisdottir moves from 8th to 5th.
I was trying to figure out the pounds to kilos. That was like really off-putting.
So people get like language translators, like they speak Spanish and they get someone, we need a translator for pounds. Like, I'm serious, you know how stressful it is, like trying to figure that out? It's such a disadvantage.
I failed a back squat. I haven't failed a back squat in a long, long time.
Yeah, I PR'd all my lifts, so I'm very happy.
For the first time in the competition, the athletes are heading to the Coliseum. They won't like what they find when they get there. Coming up, we go from short and heavy to long and grueling. The longest event in CrossFit Games history is next.
Fittest on Earth. The 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Rogue Fitness, the official equipment supplier for the CrossFit Games. And by Erosti, the official athlete care provider with over 150 locations nationwide.
It is the end of the first of 4 days of competition at the CrossFit Games. The women vying for the title Fittest on Earth have faced 3 events so far. But nothing will challenge them both mentally and physically like the final test of the day.
Just mobilizing and getting ready to get called up to do our marathon row.
Yeah, I like to row. Not for that long, but I think no one likes to row that long. So it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Event 4 is the longest in both duration and distance in CrossFit Games history. A marathon row, 42,195 meters.
I have never rowed a marathon. Yeah, but you've done a marathon. That is so different because I love to run. And I hate to row.
I don't know if people are looking forward to it, but I'm kind of looking forward to it. I mean, it's 3 hours. It's a lot. I think a lot of it's going to be mental, like just staying in it mentally, not psyching yourself out. I think it's a huge component.
I am actually pretty excited for it. I'm like this is gonna be hard, but it's gonna be awesome.
I'm excited. So excited. I'm so happy.
The CrossFit Games are always evolving. In 2013, the athletes faced a half marathon row. It left a lasting impression. 5 years later, the women at the CrossFit Games have gotten fitter. Therefore, the test is getting tougher.
There are some infamous numbers in CrossFit Games history. 42,195 is going to join them after today. That is the number of meters that these athletes must row in event number 4. It is a marathon row. It is the longest event in CrossFit Games history. Go.
All 39 women and 39 men face this challenge together. It's tough to win an event that lasts more than 3 hours in the opening minutes. That doesn't stop Margot Alvarez and Whitney Galin from getting out front early.
Your leader so far in this event is Margot Alvarez, who continues to hold off Whitney Galin, and Margot Alvarez maintaining about a 2:10 pace right now on her 500-meter run.
She's a very experienced athlete, so she's not one that we said goes out way too fast. Typically, that's not what she does, so I think she is going to be okay.
Laura Horvath, in the middle of your screen, number 29, was second overall after 3 events, and right now sits in 4th place in this event.
Horvath just proving to me that she really is a competitor all around, and she belongs here at the CrossFit Games. We will see much more from her throughout the weekend, and I can't wait to see what she can do.
Horvath has a very good chance of overtaking Tia Toomey for the points lead after 4 events. Toomey right now is in 15th place. She is your overall leader and has some ground to make up if she wants to hang on to that white jersey.
Event 4 is a grueling challenge. More than 2.5 hours in, the effects begin to show.
Event number 4 is not going well for Sandra Pacelli, who has just stopped rowing, and she is clearly in some pain.
This is devastating for Pacelli. I expected big things for her in this event, and I'm seeing that disappear pretty quickly.
Margot Alvarez for the women is still your leader. She's inside 3,000 meters to go. Alvarez with about 2,300 meters left. She and Whitney Galin, they're right next to each other. They have led basically from the beginning of this event. 40 meters to go for Alvarez.
Go ahead!
Margot Alvarez wins event 4.
Alvarez gets her second career CrossFit Games event victory. Then she helps get Whitney Galin over the finish line.
Look who's cheering her on. Margot Alvarez went right back to Whitney Galin's rower to cheer her on and push her to this finish.
Iceland, Annie Thorsdottir, crack a smile, you earned it. She finishes third place in event number 4. Laura Horvath is in, and she may have just regained the leader's jersey after 4 events.
Katrin David's daughter makes up for her 36th place finish in event 3. She finishes 5th. Sarah Sigmund's daughter takes 10th.
Tia Toomey looking to finish up and lock up 14th place in this event. Coincidentally, 14th place, the lowest finish she had last year en route to her first ever CrossFit Games championship.
Sandra Pacelli is the last woman to finish.
And she is cramping all over. It was her legs, it was her midsection, her arms are in bad shape, but Sandra Pacelli gutting through that event.
Pacelli finishes well inside the 4-hour time cap. She stays alive in the competition. After the toughest day in CrossFit Games history, Laura Horvath sits atop the overall standings. 2 former champions are right behind her. Cara Saunders makes the top 5 for the first time in the competition. And Christy Aramo drops 1 spot to 5th.
Immediately following. That's it, folks. Have a great night. Drive safe. We'll see you.
It was awesome. I mean, right now I feel so good. During it wasn't so good. My butt and my hands were hurting really bad, but now I feel good.
I honestly felt like pretty good during.
Don't lie.
Everyone's gonna say they're fine. Like, how are you? Like, surprised how good I am. Yeah, like, I'm really surprised. Like, I'm not really sore. I'm not really sore at all.
Sorry, Annie.
It's still coming out.
I can do that.
Gotta go.
But yeah, so that will make like Friday, Saturday, Sunday a lot more challenging.
The 2018 CrossFit Games are just getting started. 4 events are done. 10 remain. Next time on the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games.
Somebody get out there and tell this woman she's a rookie. Only the strong and fast will survive. It's a speed, clean, and jerk ladder.
Great event, oh my word.
Thorsdottir starting to gain a little bit of ground.
This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.